This is the Whirligig. When the wind blows, it goes around. Most of the time. And the wind blows most of the time. It's been sitting here for 15 years. Quietly going around, pumping water. Free energy, huh? No pollution. No fuel, no exhaust. Well, this is a high wind area. So the Whirligig is set up to take advantage of the high wind, which comes mostly from the west and northwest or the southwest. It's very seldom the wind ever blows from any other direction. In olden times, the ancient mariners sailed the seven seas, mostly downwind, trading with distant lands, and they took advantage of the trade winds. The trade winds are bands of winds that circle the earth at different latitudes. Around the equator, they blow from east to west. But now in the latitudes where we are in the United States, they're blowing from the west to the east and generally referred to as prevailing westerlies. Well, the Whirligig is set up to run on the prevailing westerly wind. In this way, the Whirligig doesn't really have to track the wind because the wind blows it from the same direction most of the time. So the Whirligig can be on a solid platform and hooked to machinery that doesn't have to move around and track the wind, which is a definite advantage that a standard windmill doesn't have. A standard windmill requires a lot of machinery to get the motion from going this way to this way, and from this way to this way. There are a lot of mechanical problems involved. In fact, on the big windmills and the wind farms, you'll notice that the generator is on top of the tower. That's to avoid the mechanical problem. Well, the Whirligig doesn't have that problem. The Whirligig just sits down staunchly on the ground. It could be made to be any size. And probably with a little engineering, could be made to be quite efficient. And when the wind's not blowing, we just go fishing. Nuclear fishing? To pump water? No. Nukes can generate electricity to pump water. Nah. We're talking about trout fishing. Fishing for crawdads. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. How do we get water when the wind's not blowing in the right direction? Well, we have used electricity, but there are other alternatives. I kind of like the exercise machine method, the upper body respiratory cardiovascular workout. Well, we had to pump water like this for a long time to water the trees and the plants, the gardens, and everybody pumps water for years. Just pumping out water out of the ground with a 2x4 like this.
Did you really need water? Yeah.
Wash your dishes with and stuff. They keyed us loose here. I'll give you a little more history on the Whirligig, which was a birthday present to me from a friend who was cleaning up a lady's yard. And the part you see there going around, plus the mounting brackets on it, were laying out in her backyard, and my friend asked her, "What is it?" And she said, "Well, it's a gold dredge." So when he brought it to me for my birthday, it lay here in the yard for a year. And I kept looking at it, thinking, no, this is obviously not a gold dredge, but something that was made to power a gold dredge. And as you can see, there's a motorcycle sprocket on the side. And if you can see the motorcycle sprocket on the other side, yes, you can see it in between the buckets when it's going around. So this was made to operate a gold dredge by being submerged halfway down in a stream. Whoever built it, well, I have no idea who built it. However, I decided that it would go up in the wind and go around, and so I built this crude derrick and set it up in the wind, and it went around, sure enough. And it keeps going around and around. The rotor weighs about 100 pounds, turns on the lightest breeze. Imagine one of these 4 stories high and half a block long. Could that produce enough electricity to pay for the cost of building it? At that size, the rotor would weigh several tons, yet the Whirligig would not be half as tall as a standard wind farm turbine. Now the idea is to use the Whirligig as a generator of electricity on a large scale and pump the electricity into the grid to reduce our use of fossil fuels. There are only so many deposits of fossil fuels, coal and petroleum, natural gas, and if we continue to power our society on these fuels, they will eventually run out. Kind of like the Whirligig, this unit has one moving part. As I probably said before, this is our first movie, and it's been a lot of fun. Well, we're going to make another movie, probably one about the Whirligig. And it's going to be hooking up the Whirligig so that it's got a little more torque, and fixing it up so that it'll run a grinder or even generate electricity, which is the big one, to generate electricity. So we'll get back to you and look for our Whirligig 2 movie.